They're suing me for something I didn't do. It's just the most bullshit thing. And I literally had to pay them a lot of fucking money.
Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis
they just decided to pull the plug.
Tab 3. Jake Paul is now facing a lawsuit from Gervonta Tank Davis after backing out of their scheduled fight. What looked like a major boxing event in the making has turned into a legal battle, with Tank taking the issue to court. And this isn't just some routine drama, it involves egos, big money, and both fighters' reputations slipping into chaos. The matchup that fans expected to be one of the year's biggest attractions has instead unraveled into one of the most embarrassing and messy situations the sport has seen in a long time.
So that fight that was supposed to go down with Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis in Miami on November 14th is not happening. It has been canceled officially.
A few months back, the entire boxing world was electric with hype. Jake Paul, the outspoken former YouTuber who's carved out a controversial path in the ring, was set to face off against Gervonta Tank Davis, one of the most dangerous knockout artists in the sport. With Netflix on board and massive money tied to the event, it was shaping up to be a spectacle that blended pure competition with entertainment chaos. Fans were expecting a showdown that would push the boundaries between real sport and high-octane showbiz.
Because you have someone that we come from two different sides, of the world. We still on the same path to get the same thing.
And then everything fell apart. The promotions were underway, posters already made, cameras rolling, agreements finalized, and out of nowhere, the entire event was scrapped. In an instant, the fight everyone expected simply evaporated. Jake Paul jumped online soon after, presenting the cancellation as if it was some bold, noble move on his part.
One of the most feared punchers in the sport of boxing. He's got a 93% knockout percentage. That's one of the best among current world champions.
He went online and blasted Gervonta, calling him trash and accusing him of mistreating women. Jake also claimed that Netflix backed out because of the allegations. He framed the whole thing as a principled stand, saying his brand supports women and that he couldn't in good faith help elevate someone he viewed as harmful. The tone, the timing, the dramatic presentation, it was all positioned to paint Jake as the righteous figure choosing morality over money. And for a brief moment, the public actually bought it.
Gervonta Tank Davis team fights back after Jake Paul canceled the fight, went on a tirade.
But the praise didn't stick. The initial support quickly dissolved, replaced by quiet doubts that grew louder as the hours passed. First came small hints from people involved in the promotion, then stronger pushback from Tank's team, and soon the skepticism was echoing throughout the boxing community. Veterans who've witnessed more than enough PR misdirection to recognize when something doesn't add up.
I never let myself go there. I'm a fierce competitor.
Tank's team is now fighting back, and they're stating that Netflix did not in fact cancel the bout.
The narrative Jake Paul had so carefully crafted began to fall apart. Netflix, it turned out, hadn't cancelled anything. In fact, according to Gervonta's trainer, Kenny Ellis, the matchup was still very much alive. Jake got scared, Ellis said, a short, sharp statement that cut straight through Jake's heroic facade. With that single comment, the entire storyline Jake had pushed, the bravery, the righteousness, the supposed stand for principle, crumbled instantly. It didn't look like a moral stand anymore. It looked like fear dressed up as virtue.
He has made a significant impact on the sport of boxing. He has certainly brought new eyes to the sport. He's done so much in uplifting women's boxing.
Then the talk about weight started circulating. The contract required Jake to come in at 195 pounds, but people close to the situation said he wasn't anywhere near that mark. He looked sluggish, depleted, and nowhere close to peak condition. The loud, confident persona he'd marketed for years suddenly seemed shaky and exposed. On the other side, Tank was transforming into a razor-sharp machine, quicker, slimmer, and more dangerous every day. As the event drew closer, anyone really watching the situation could see what was coming. Jake Paul might have been stepping straight into a brutal knockout. Ellis didn't sugarcoat any of it. Netflix didn't pull out, Jake did. And according to him, the reason was simple: fear. Direct, harsh, and explosive.
They called Gervonta Davis the tank for a reason. He only needs one shot to end the entire night.
Davis, big straight left, down goes Campbell.
Fans started raising questions they had previously brushed aside. If Jake was really taking a moral stand, Then why had he stepped into the ring with Mike Tyson, someone who had actually served time? Why did he have no issue fighting Mike Perry, who had faced several accusations of domestic violence? Why was Gervonta suddenly the breaking point? Why this opponent, when others with similar or worse histories never stopped to fight before?
Jake fought a guy who was his age and was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
It just pisses me the fuck off. And then
You're good. Take a break.
Suddenly, Jake's so-called moral stance stopped looking brave and started looking like a cover for panic. Every tweet, every Instagram update, every carefully delivered statement meant to make him look noble came off as exactly what it was, an attempt to protect his image. Fans began piecing things together. The speech about standing up for women seemed more like a PR shield. The outrage, a conveniently timed escape hatch. The whole narrative wasn't built on principle, it was built on fear, wrapped in moral language. And once Ellis's comment circulated, the picture became unmistakably clear. Jake Paul hadn't backed out because of ethics. He backed out because he saw a fight he wasn't prepared for, a fight he knew he likely wouldn't win. For the first time, the audience could see what was really happening behind the scenes.
Jake Paul took that and ran with it and then used it as a catalyst to stain Tank's name but not have to fight him.
By then, Jake's image was on the line. He wasn't going up against aging opponents or social media spectacles anymore. He was facing a genuine danger, a world-class knockout artist who fought for results, not clicks or viral fame. The PR story had shifted. Suddenly, Jake wasn't seen as afraid. He was taking a stand, protecting women, and making a principled choice. For a short time, the narrative held. But now, the reality was catching up, and that carefully constructed image was starting to crumble.
I believe that he was making the money he says he's making. Showtime Boxing wouldn't have gone out of business, and Showtime would have made sure they kept paying.
Gervonta Davis isn't letting the matter go quietly. He has filed a lawsuit against Jake Paul, accusing him of defamation and breaking their contract, and claiming that Jake's false statements have caused serious damage to both his reputation and finances. According to the legal filing, Jake's so-called moral stand wasn't a mistake or misunderstanding, it was intentional. If Team Davis can show that Netflix never pulled out, Jake could potentially face financial consequences running into the millions.
What else to say? I didn't want to give this woman abuser a platform to grow his fans and to grow his bank account. My company champions women. I'm so sorry to everyone involved, mostly to the undercard fighters, to my team at MVP, and to my team who worked so hard.
Coach Kenny Ellis didn't hold back. According to him, Jake wasn't stepping up to defend women, he was trying to protect his own record. Harsh, but direct. Ellis went further, describing Jake's standing up for women message as little more than a smokescreen, a PR stunt disguised as a moral stand. Past interviews and screenshots only added weight to this version of events, showing a fighter who was panicked, clearly out of his depth, and scrambling for a way to escape the situation.
Ring Magazine. Jake Paul admits he's scared and losing sleep over a Gervonta Davis fight.
Then the Netflix angle came into focus. Online sleuths quickly noticed a key detail. Netflix never officially pulled the plug on the fight. There was no press release, no public announcement, and their logos remained on promotional materials days after Jake's post. If Netflix had really cancelled, wouldn't their branding have disappeared immediately? Their silence told its own story. Tank's team seized on the inconsistency. Netflix had made no move to cancel the event. Jake had effectively used their name as a shield. The timeline made it clear. Jake announced the fight's cancellation before any official statement from Netflix. In reality, he had spoken on their behalf, not the other way around.
Jake Paul, the contracted weight is 195 pounds. I bet if he were to get on a scale today that he's nowhere near the fight weight. Is so many games being played.
This is the core of the lawsuit. Jake Paul didn't simply withdraw from the fight. He publicly accused Tank in a way that implied moral superiority and suggested Netflix had forced the cancellation. According to the claim, this wasn't just a personal choice, it was career sabotage. The legal battle points to lost fight purses, sponsorship deals, and promotional rights, all part of the financial fallout. Tank's lawyers argue that Jake disrupted an entire business ecosystem to protect his ego and avoid accountability. Behind the scenes, Jake's team tried to manage the situation, but this isn't a controversy that can be deleted from a social media feed. This is the courtroom, where facts matter more than followers and evidence outweighs posts.
Pull the fight, so don't blame Gervonta Davis accusations. Jake Paul has a far worse track record. Jake Paul backed out.
Hypocrisy has become the most glaring issue. Jake's supposed moral stance is starting to crumble. He insisted he wouldn't give a platform to fighters with questionable pasts, yet he has faced opponents like Tyson, Perry, and others with similar controversies. Ego put it plainly, the timing was too convenient. The moment Jake realized he might not dominate the fight, he found a reason to pull out. Tank's team fired back, pointing out, he knew about our fighter's history when he signed the contract. Why act surprised now? And they're right, Jake wasn't caught off guard. He was trapped and looking for a way out.
It was Jake Paul who found a scapegoat kind of in an exit strategy and got to moving.
Jake Paul, a man who built his brand on chaos, self-promotion, and spectacle, suddenly cast himself as a moral figure when the stakes were highest. He made a fortune from hype, pay-per-view events, and turning insults into entertainment. Yet, when facing Gervonta Davis, a genuine world-class knockout artist, he claimed the moral high ground. It's a familiar PR tactic. If you can't win the battle, rewrite the narrative. That's exactly what happened here. Fear was dressed up as principle. Retreat was framed as a moral mission. What was presented as courage was, in reality, a carefully calculated exit, and exits designed under pressure rarely look heroic.
He's paying the beater.
Oh shit, you're right.
Boxing analyst Ego delivered a stark reality check. If the sport excluded everyone with a criminal record, very little boxing would remain. The sport isn't about saintly behavior, it's about resilience. Legends like Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, Andre Ward, and Floyd Mayweather didn't rise to the top through virtue alone. They emerged from struggle, chaos, and adversity. In the ring, mistakes and moral gray areas can be forgiven. In a courtroom, they are not.
Jake
That
is
bullshit.
consensual. That's the thing. It's Jake, it's consensual. Two consensual parties,
Well,
two
you didn't
women.
say that word.
No, I'm saying it's consensual. I'm saying these two women
So
came
he
together.
paid women to beat on each other.
Exactly.
Got you.
Jake's sudden display of moral courage felt completely out of context. Elevating virtue over violence seemed like a performance, out of place in a sport defined by grit, blood, and unfiltered reality. Fans noticed it. Fellow fighters noticed it. Anyone paying attention could see right through the act.
Also, I was thinking too, maybe Tank isn't used to being the B-side of a fight.
B-side. So everybody's working around his schedule, and now
Yeah, when you the A-side, you get to dictate things, you pick who you want, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he's not used to being the B-side.
Jake Paul thrives in front of the camera, not in the corner of the ring. True fighters confront challenges directly. They don't lecture about contracts or turn withdrawals into moral statements. They fight. Now, Jake is up against an opponent he can't dodge. His social media image won't protect him from real-world consequences.
That's the thing. It's Jake, it's consensual. Two consensual parties,
Well,
two
you didn't
women.
say that word.
No, I'm saying it's consensual. I'm saying these two women
So
came
he
together.
paid women to beat on each other.
Every brand that once partnered with Jake is now weighing the risks of staying associated with him. The image of a moral hero is gone. The maverick mystique is gone. Jake may have avoided Gervonta's punches in the ring, but there's no escaping the courtroom. No referee, no cheering crowd, just lawyers, contracts, evidence, and the unforgiving spotlight of the truth. If the court rules in Tank's favor, the financial penalties alone could reach millions. Even more damaging is the reputational blow. The social media persona built on fearless bravado is powerless under oath. The story of courage collapses when confronted with proof of fear and deception. The biggest question isn't whether Jake misled the public, it's why. Was this ever about morals, or was it about fear? Fear of being exposed, fear of losing, fear of facing a real fighter who could, with a single punch, dismantle the carefully constructed image he's spent years building.